All right, hi guys, this is Lisa Starrett. I'm going to be teaching you how to work with your project kit for Tea Lights for Two. It's your DIY Tea Lights for Two project kit. And I'm really excited to show you this. This is part of our special effects course that we have, where there's lots of different special effects. FX is what we call it. Course. This is just one of those items. We decided to make kits just so you could get used to some of these really cool techniques. So I am here in my glass studio in the Pacific Northwest up in Silverdale, Washington. And here we make product for people to come and purchase, all glass products. We have a DIY section where it's a teaching studio, so people come in and they learn how to make glass. They have a ton of fun. It's a great experience place. We also put a cool coffee shop in. So if you're ever coming to the Pacific Northwest, you've got to come see us, and we can walk you through a lot of really cool different techniques. We're open with all of our information. We want to get the word out on how to use float glass. Float glass is window glass. I've been using it for 25 years. And when I started, everybody said, can't use it, doesn't fuse well. And that's not true. For 25 years, I've been pushing the system, and I'm just really wanting to get the word out how easy it is to use float glass, aka window glass, scrap glass. That means frame glass. You could go to Goodwill and get frames. That's bottles. It's all different types of float glass, scrap glass, window glass. Even the old stuff from 100 years ago, that glass, it can be fused. And we have colorant. We have 86 colors that actually you can use on all of this glass. So the coefficient, typically you'll have coefficient of 96, system 96, bullseye 90. This coefficient is from 79 to 85. So it goes on just a whole gamut of this glass that you can easily find. You can buy glass from us. We have got, oh my gosh, 160 shapes, different shapes you can purchase. Or you can just go to your window glass place, and they are having to cut windows. You can do it in any thickness that you like. And it does not matter, the system. It can go on the 16th inch all the way up to an inch thick if you want, if more. Not that you want to do that because it's pretty hard to break. But anyway, you can just go to that window place, and they have to cut their windows. Often they have scrap that they just throw away that they'll just give to you. Some places like me, I buy cases, 100 pieces, 8-foot pieces at a time. So we can supply it. We try to keep the pricing down so you artists can actually, afford to purchase the supplies and then be able to create in your own studios and then sell, so that you're the one that's, creating, making the profit. Anyway. So we've got colors for all of this float glass, and what you're doing today is you're going to play with making 2 tea lights. So I just wanted to show you this kit. So I've got my camera here. I'm going to lift it up. This is what it looks like. It's DIY glass tea lights for 2. And inside, we've got lots of good stuff. So we've got all of the glass that you're going to need to make 2 tea lights, which is all wrapped up nice and pretty in here. We've got, actually we give you all the mixing stuff, containers and stir sticks and that sort of thing. But what we really tried to do is give you a lot of frit, more than you're going to need for 2 tea lights. You can do more than 2 tea lights. But we try to give you a lot of frit so that you can play and have a good time and get to know this system. And I'm going to show you now how to do the special effects. So I've got a tea light here. On the box you can see this tea light, and so there's white on the bottom, there's kind of a red-orange on the top, and there's some really cool artistic technique there, but it's it's not difficult to get. Every tea light's going to be completely different, and you can play with this system to see how comfortable you are with it, because really it is It's one that you just throw caution to the wind and enjoy. So here's just blue and white. Whoops, excuse me. Blue and white. And we are going to be mixing the frit with a medium, and it's not even a medium, it's actually with water. And you're going to put, you're going to mix it, and then you're going to put it on the glass and you're going to swirl it around. So I have, you can see there's thin parts and then there's thicker parts. And this is where I have mixed more water in here. So you can see how thin that is. You still get a beautiful hue of color. And then there's thicker parts. And then I actually make a thicker mixture of the water and the frit. We'll get into that in just a second. And then I drop, so I actually have texture here. I've thrown some of our giblets on just for fun. And in your kit, you actually have reactive glass. So white, Snow White, reacts with red, orange, and yellow. So I decided on this kit, it would be fun to give you guys reactive glass. And here's one where I've got orange, red, and white. And where the white is touching the red or the orange, it actually creates this dark, speckly, beautiful color. I love it, and it's a huge contrast. It's not quite black, but it's getting there. And then you can see on this one, I use some of our F4, which is a thicker frit that we just sprinkled on. And here you can see these are raised, these bumps here are raised. And I'm just using a concentrate that's less concentrated of water and frit. So let's get into how to mix this. So first you're gonna clean your glass, both front and back. We are gonna get messy, but still we always wanna start with a clean piece of glass. Float glass, typically you want to know what side the tin is on. So when float glass is made, it actually floats onto water, which is, it has the metal tin floating on the surface of the water. So one side of the float glass actually picks up that metal tin. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people say you cannot fuse with float glass. It's not true. It actually can be your friend. There's incredible reactions you can get. And like I said, I've got a series of project kits that are less than $100. They're anywhere from $50 to $100, where you get everything and the instruction. Or I've got full-on courses and that take you through multiple different techniques, casting and it's on its edge, which is kind of gravity-defying glass. It's really pretty cool. And so anyway, you would want to typically know where the tin is. On this project, you do not need to know where the tin is. The difference with the tin side up or to the tin side down, if you are going to ever have just clear glass, if I would just took this glass and I fused it, I would want to have the tin side up. Then my glass would be glossy. If I did the tin side down, then it would be more of a matte finish. It's not bad because I do use that in techniques where I'm in high glare areas and I want my artwork to be seen. So I'll do the tin side down not to have the glare. But for most of these projects, most of us want it to be glossy, so it's tin side up. We're going to be covering the glass with frit and with water and frit. So anytime you're covering the glass and you're not going to have clear glass, then you do not need to know, and you're using only one layer of glass, you do not need to know where the tin is. And that's another thing. There's a cool distinction with this float glass. Typically with all other systems of glass, 96 bullseye, 90, you have to have 2 layers of glass. Otherwise it draws in, it has that dog bone effect. What's cool about this glass, I always use 1/8 inch glass, and I could put this in the kiln and not have another piece of glass on top of it, not a double layer, and it does not dog bone. So it's a harder glass. I always offer my fusing schedules. They're always on my website for about everything that you can imagine that you would want to fire. The temperatures would be anywhere from 50 to 100 degrees more than the 96 or bullseye, just because it's a little bit harder glass. So for this, we don't need to know where the tin is. And so you can clean it, and whatever side up you want, you can do. All right, so let's talk about mixing the colors. So I mix up a few already. This one, like I said, this kit, you have Snow White, which is just a pure white. You've got an opaque orange, really cool opaque orange color. You can see that in here. And then you can see the red tones, just a little bit of red tones up in corners that I've got. So I've already mixed up the orange, which this looks a little bit orange. It looks like a little red orange color in here. And I have the red, believe it or not, this is already mixed up, but if you look at it, it's white. Oop, I don't want to spill any out, but it's white. Now when it hits up into about 1500 degrees, then it matures and it becomes red. So, but when you're putting it on, it still looks white. So you have to think about where you're going to put the white, where you're going to put the red, where you're going to put the orange. Now, I don't have the white mixed up yet because the other night I was doing this project, and the beautiful thing is you have no waste. So in your little mixing jars, you put the powder. So I just use little sifters. So I don't know, these are little enamel sifters. They're small, medium, and large for capturing your frit. I just would go in and I'd start with probably 3 of the little sifters into your vial here, into your little mixer. And then I would put water in and start mixing. Now, like I said, the consistency can be really thin or it can be really thick. So if you want it really, you want to put drops that are going to stay in that drop form and not spread out, then you want to mix less water. And if you want it to spread around really, really thin, then you're going to want to add more water. What's cool is I did this the other day, and you can see that this is all dried up. The water evaporated, but that does not hurt the frit that's there. So I would not throw this away and start. I just kind of go in here, stir it back up to make it the chunks go away really quickly. It's powder again. You can see how quick that is. And then you need water. So you can pour the water, but sometimes I pour too much. So I've gone to using these little eyedropper. So I'll put in a little bit of water and get the consistency that I want. So for the one that I'm doing right now, oh, see, I added just maybe a little bit too much. So I'm going to add a little bit of powder just to make it a little bit more stiff. I don't want it to run everywhere. So you want to think about where you want your color. And sometimes it gets away from you. It might get a little wild and go where you don't want it to go, but don't fight it. Just keep looking at it, and you can pick it up and swirl it around a little more, add a little more. All right, so I'm going to, I have a 6x6 square. That's what you guys are going to have. And for this one, I'm just going to add, the one thing, just real quickly, you are going to want to stir this in between because the water has a tendency to come right to the top. I got that a little thick. Let's just go with it. All right. So this one, let's have a little bit of fun here. All right, so this, I just added a little bit of white. I think I'm gonna spread it out a little bit and start adding my red, or my orange. And you can do designs through the white, or I might just go around the edge on this one. Oh, that dropped. I love it. So when you get drops, sometimes it's like, ooh, it's your friend. Let's see if you can see what happened so far. Now I'm going to tip it and it's going to start to run on me, which is cool. This is looking pretty neat. I might not want it to run too much because this one I wanted to add more frit around, just powdered frit. around the edge. So I think I'm going to stop there. Now, on your box, you can see where there's lines of that black from the frit, the water frit kind of going down into the white. So the way I did that is I just took a little stick and I ran my stick through it. So taking some of that orange and pulling it up into the white. Let's see. And I don't need to do too much because what's going to happen is I am going to drop some more color. Maybe in here, around the edge. Okay, cool. So this one I did a few minutes ago, and you can see I got a little wild with it. And it's all over the place. Now, I could run this all the way to the edge and be done. And if you see the design and you like the design, you can leave it. So this one, I didn't do any powder. I just used the water and the frit and made my special effects goop, basically, and I ran it all the way to the edge. You can see how the reaction, and then here's more white on this side, and I dropped in some orange. So you just twirl this and every place looks a little bit different. It's pretty cool. So I didn't actually add any powder to this on this one, but the one on the package, I actually kept the water frit in the center, and then I put the powder around the edge. So I think I want to do that with this one. And then I probably will go back and drop a few more thicker dots into the powder. So I'm going to put down the red. It's very similar to what's on the box. And again, this is white powder, so it's not going to look red. So I'm just going to tap it. Now, wherever there's white, wherever this powder hits white, it will actually have a reaction. So it'll be more of a speckly. What's kind of cool is that where I ran the white and the orange together, it kind of made some circles where there's no frit in the center, but there's water all the way around. And now I'm going to fill this with the powdered frit. And no amount is too much or too little. The difference with our frit is that you do not have to put on as much powder as you do with 96 and Bullseye. Typically with that, you have to really pile it up. With our system, you only need enough so that you cannot see the glass anymore. So basically, I can see the glass in a few areas, so it's lighter, more of a dusting, and then thicker, I put it around the edge where I cannot see the glass. And that will be full saturation of this color. So I might just kind of leave it like that. And let's see, that is red. So I probably will go around with a thicker white. Let's see. This one doesn't have a lot of water in it. Let's see if it's too thick. And I think I'm going to drop it. So what will happen is around this white, because it's reacting, it will react with the red. It'll actually make a black ring around it. It's pretty cool. And if it looks kind of cool flat, wait till you fuse it. So you're going to want to fuse it first, flat or on texture. And then you'll want to turn it over. I use a martini shaker. I'll kiln wash the martini shaker. And then bend it over that to get my tea light design. Let's see, what do I have here? I might just add a little bit of white, a line of white. Again, trying to get the right consistency. And this is why every one of them's a little bit different. All right, so I think I'll do a line of this. Get it started. Ooh, that's cool. And these dots will stay right where they are. I could do these dots right down the center of it. Ooh, I like this. Wait till you see it. Hopefully I can give you. And then I want to balance it, right? So it's not all the designs, not just on one side. There we go. Very cool. Mama like. Here you go. I don't know if you can see this. You can see the dots that are raised. You can see the highs and lows of the powder that I have around the orange. And then we'll fuse this, and then this one will turn into a tea light. You know, some of these designs you don't have to do a tea light. You can make into little trays, that sort of thing. So if I was going to make this into a tray, though, I just put a clear piece of glass underneath of this, so I had a nice thick piece. So if people are throwing their keys in there or something like that, you don't have to, but with trays, I usually make it a double thickness. All right, that's what we have. I hope you enjoy. As always, if you have any questions, you can always call the studio. We are here to help you be creative. So happy fusing.